Welcome back to Etheria Restart. After a big weekend of blessings galore and farming like crazy, we have a brand new Linglou build for all of you to really take her to the next level. I'm joined by Hermes today to take us through this build guide. And again, before we go any further, I need to thank Etheria Restart for sponsoring the video and urge all of you who have yet to play to download the game with this QR code or my link in the description. It will get you 10 free summons. Now, Linglou, Hermes, is just one of the few animus that we were really able to upgrade here on my account since the big Blessings Galore event this weekend. So it's the feature that we're starting with today, but many more to come. So make sure you guys subscribe. So let's talk about Linglou. Why don't you take us through some of the guidance that you've given me over the past few days for Linglou to really take her to the next level as a healer?
Yeah. So I think the first thing, obviously, is really important because she's one you get for free. And I know for me, a lot of times when you look at games, you kind of go, oh, well, they're giving you a free one, so they can't be really that good. But honestly, like, she is, at least from what I've seen, she's one of the better healers. Definitely, obviously, of the odd type, like of the odd affinity. But just in general, she's an incredible healer. And it's because her kit is there's just so much healing in her kit, like across the board. So I think obviously, like this one, honestly, we'll go S3, S2, then S1, and just kind of go through her abilities that way, just because of the way that her kit is set up.
Sure. No, that sounds good to me. Let's dive into that S3 to start.
So this Esther is actually really cool because it has not only a 2 times healing of 13%, but it also has immunity. So the problem that I have with this one, obviously, is that it's not her max HP, it's your ally's max HP. So at the end of the day, you'll basically get a 26% heal of their max HP, in addition to getting a 1-turn immunity. Now, if you look on this ability, you are able to bump that up in order to get it to an increase of healing effect by 14%, which is also really, really big. Now, obviously, I wish that they would have included a ability for you to upgrade the lattice, to use the lattice to get it to a 2-turn immunity, but it looks like you only get that 1-turn immunity, which is, it is what it is, right? You got to kind of live and die with what you can on these kits.
That's true.
But if you have the lattice to upgrade this ability, it can be really valuable because, one, obviously you get a shorter cooldown, but then you also get a increased healing effect, which then of course gives you bigger heals long term, especially since it's based on your allies' max HP. That can be not as big of a heal because your allies don't have as much HP as her.
No, good breakdown right there. Okay, it makes sense. So this was, you said you want to start with the S3. Let's dive into the S1 next, and then I want to look into that S1 and talk about why we've upgraded it all the way. Let's go into that S2 to start.
So the S2 is another thing. It's kind of like the S1 a little bit because, again, she heals all allies by 10% of their max HP. So it's another one of those things where she heals them by their HP. And in addition to that, though, she also extends all ally buffs by 1 turn, and those allies receive an additional heal of 12% of their max HP. So that is really, really valuable because what you're able to do then is you're able to increase buffs, right? So if you have an increased defense, you have a shield buff on your ally animus, you're able to extend those, which then improves your abilities to really keep your team alive and give them more sustain, plus that heal. And then on top of that, an additional heal, which, again, her kit honestly is very, I think, valuable to get latticed up if you have the lattice available and you really are struggling to get good healing, because she gets so much additional healing from her lattice. This one is already only on a 3-turn cooldown, so really all you're doing is just increasing the amount of healing that your ally units are getting, which is really big.
Yeah, that is really big for sure. And you mentioned before that her being a free animus inside of the game, that many people would expect her to not be that great, right? Because they're not going to give away a great animus. But
exactly,
it's really nice when games like Etheria Restart throw out an animus that's actually legit, that's actually usable long term. And I think that this is one that fits that bill for sure. All right, let's get into Whirlpool right now, the S1 that you really love.
So this S1 is really interesting. And so this one is actually the one ability. So especially if you want to use her in Aurora, where she is super valuable, and we'll eventually go into some builds for her that as well, actually, is that you kind of want this S1 maxed because of the Whale Prayer buff. So we'll look at that first, then we'll talk about the skill itself. So the Whale Prayer buff is when the turn starts, they recover 5% of your max HP. So basically what it is, it just means that if you have a whale stack on you, right, a Whale Prayer stack, you will recover 5% of your HP. Now, if you have 5 of those, you'll get 25% of your HP back. So let's say that in a battle, Lingluo is about to go, and your ally has 5 stacks of that, and then Lingluo also does her S3 ability. That Animus, in theory, is getting a over 50% heal when they have a maxed Whale Prayer. What makes this Whale Prayer buff, though, so valuable on this S1 is that what it does is you not only do you increase the opportunity of putting it out, but if you scroll down a little bit to get to that level 5, you actually also increase the duration to 2 turns. So this ability, what it does is it puts out a Whale Prayer buff on has a 75% chance to purify a debuff and a 75% chance to apply that Whale Prayer debuff once you upgrade. I think it starts at like a 50 or 60% chance, but when you lattice it up, it gets up to 75%. And on top of that, you then also make that a 2-turn Whale Prayer buff. And so what really happens is it adds so much additional passive healing that whenever your Animus takes a turn, they get a lot of extra healing right at the beginning. And that is really, really valuable all over the game. And then it's very valuable in Aurora because of the curse shield that Aurora puts out, where you really just need a heal check and make sure you're getting enough healing done on your Animus in order to make sure that you are properly able to then do damage to the boss.
Oh, I appreciate the breakdown there. That one was definitely advanced, giving people a deep dive into what those skills actually look like. Now, we have the modules set up here as well, and I know that there was a lot that you want to talk about specifically about this module right down here, but then also about the shells, because we have 2 builds put together for her. So why don't we start off with this build right here? I believe this is our chunk heal build.
Yeah, so the funny names, right? But so the reason why this is the chunk heal build is this is her end goal module build, right? For you in your account, you really want her to still be fast, so you put her into Swift Rush, and then you also want Cure. Cure is an extremely valuable set to have her in because her healing effect is increased by 25%. That's big, right? You're increasing the heal by an extra quarter. I mean, like, that's just so big that you really want to make sure you have that Cure set on her. Swift Rush as well, always good because you always want your healers to be fast. But the big one is that as you get into that Inferno farming, right, is getting that Evo guard on her, because it also increases her healing effect by an additional 12%, right? So in total, on this build, you have an additional, 37%? 37% increased heal from between the Cure set and the Evo guard. And that is really, really valuable with someone who is doing so much healing. And the reason why it's extra valuable in Lingluo is because all of her heals are not based on her max HP, it's on your ally's max HP. So if Lingluo has 100,000 HP and you do a 25% of her max HP heal, then obviously you're getting 25,000 in healing. But if an Animus only has 30,000 HP and it's 25%, I don't know the math on that one off the top of my head, unfortunately, but you're getting a much smaller heal. So if you can increase that heal by 37%, you're doing a third more healing. That is a really valuable thing to be able to do in a battle, especially when you can do it on all your Animus. And so that is something you really want to have on her, is both Cure and the Evo Guard. And then you can do whatever other set you want. Some people will use what is it? The blood? I don't remember what it is, but it's bloodbath.
Okay.
I think it's something like that. But Swift Rush, I think, is really a big, important one, especially when you're doing PvE battles, trying to make sure that she's fast enough to kind of get through all the healing that she needs to do.
Yeah, speed's always going to be the jam on most of the Animus that we're looking at here. But good point there on the Evil Guard right here and the Cure combination for that 37%. Let's take a look at the shell. And remember, I did mention that we have her in two different builds right here. We have the Jackal Guard on this one.
So the Jackal Guard for you was really because Jackal Guard had all of the Matrix effects bonuses that you wanted. So it had Swift Rush, it had Cure, and it had the Evil Guard. And that's really what you wanted on her, right? You wanted to have those 3 Matrix. And honestly, like, it doesn't have a bad passive either, with the ability to put out a 3-turn speed on the owner and increasing their turn meter by 25%. When you're trying to make an Animus faster, that is really valuable. But at the end of the day, this isn't the best one. There's one shell that should rule them all with Lingluo, and that is going to be in the other one, which is like your regular healer build, which, as you can see, you haven't done very good. Like your Sharon team, I think, is struggling right now, and so you haven't been able to farm a very good Supernova shell. But now you're able to, once you're able to get one of those, it'll really be big because of how valuable a Supernova is. And the reason why is before the owner takes an action, they increase the healing power by 35% for 2 turns. So if that heal percentage is if the target's HP is below 75%, then you also apply an additional 1 turn heal over time onto your ally Animus. And so that is really, really big, because overall what that does is that means that you are able to then increase by 35%. And you already, if you have Cure and Evo Guard, you're able to increase it by an additional 37%. So, you do the math on that one, you're looking at over 70% increase. You're almost doubling the healing effect that Lingluo has between the shell and the module. And so that is really, really valuable with her, because you just get so much extra healing. And when you include the passive effect of vibrancy, where she's able to then get additional healing percentage as well, which increases the healing done. This one's only 8% because you haven't gotten a very good roll on it to get the mythical. But once you get that mythical roll, I mean, you'll be looking at basically 200% healing from the initial, so an extra 100% healing.
Man, it sounds insane, man. I mean, basically, you just gave us the guide to make Linglou the ultimate healer inside of the game, which is really cool. And it's also nice because, again, this is an SSR that people are going to get after a week of logging into the game. They get her for free, and then you could farm her up to make her just such a positive addition to any of your, or for many of your teams. Thanks so much for coming through, Hermes. I appreciate the guidance, of course, that you give me on my account, as well as that you share with everyone here inside of the community. Guys, before we go, I need to again thank Etheria Restart for sponsoring today's video, and I'll be back with another guide for you guys tomorrow. Hope you have a great day.